And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around your real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, interior design, and so much more. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, where our number one goal is to educate, entertain, enlighten, engage in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, I want you to pull out your smartphone and save our Consumer Advocate hotline number in your phone. It's 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-917-1894.
Baby, don't forget my number.
And we want you to bookmark realestateradiotampa.com. That's our website, blog site. You can see a plethora of information there. All of our listings from Platinum, MVP, Realty. You can click on the Expert Contributors tab and see all of our expert contributors. Over 80 show partners now associated with the Real Estate Quarterback Show and our second brand, the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're here live every day, 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We also have a weekend show on 102.5 The Bone on the weekends, and you can also watch the show live via a computer or your smartphone through our live stream with WeBeam TV. You can click on the website link as well for that. So this segment is brought to you by my health team, consisting of Michael Vogt. He's an expert massage therapist here in Tampa Bay on Gun Highway, and he's with Back In Health Massage, voted top 10 massage services in Tampa Bay by the Best in the Biz Awards by the Tampa Bay Business Journal. And also part two of my health team is a shout out to Ray Milton, Ray's Vegan Soul, where I'll hit you with the flavor. That's his tagline, Ray's Vegan Soul. He's a health chef here in Tampa Bay, does a great job of cooking these awesome meals for me. I put them in my vehicle. That way when I'm running around between appointments through my daily routine, I'm not pulling into these fast food restaurants. I'm utilizing some awesome vegan-style food that Ray prepares for me. So what else do you have in this world if you do not have your health? So shout out to my health team, Michael Vogt, and also Ray Milton. So we don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We want to help you win in any marketplace and live a better life. So let's go around the horn. We're going to make our introductions now. Back in studio, Jason Avery. He's an author and the author of Constructing Success, Blueprints for a Referral-Based Business. Welcome back in studio, sir.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Also the owner of Avery Construction and Remodeling as well.
Heck yeah, the world's on fire out there right now. I'll tell you, people are remodeling left and right.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of people investing back in their real estate. You know, a great place to be putting your investment dollar back into your assets. So we're going to hear more from Jason, as well as Sara Chiarelli, Artful Conceptions, interior designer. Welcome back in.
Thanks for having me back. It's good to be here.
Hey, absolutely. My pleasure. You're looking dapper today as well, I must say. If you're watching on the show there, you can see that. And also Curt Lorden, branch manager, InterLinc Mortgage. Welcome back in, sir.
Thank you, Brandon. I got to say I'm excited about this show. Talking to Jason and Sara before the show, what they're going to talk about today is phenomenal. Obviously, hits home here because I'm obviously in real estate, so looking forward to it.
The Mortgage Maverick, a.k.a. the Mortgage Maverick here. So, yeah, hey, it's Intelligent Talk Radio. We've got some intelligent folks here in studio that we've assembled to help you live a better life and kind of cut through a lot of the nonsense you hear in the traditional mainstream media. They're going to talk about sensationalism and the Trumps and the Clintons and the Kardashians and all that garbage. We're going to help you live a better life and control that economy between your own ears. So this is a way that you can engage and live a better life. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Constructing Success, Blueprints for a Referral-Based Business. Jason Avery, author.
So one of the most biggest conceptions is people think this is a book all about construction, and it's quite the contrary. This is a book about building a business based on referrals, and getting referrals is often directly tied to the experience that you deliver to the client.
Right.
So one of the concepts of this book is what I call the customer experience roller coaster, and it's the emotions that the client's going to experience during the lifetime of fulfilling our obligations. So we start off by, asking the typical entrepreneur, what is the lifetime of your relationship with the client? If you're the air conditioning tech, the whole project might only take 2 days. You're in and out. If there's something dissatisfying on day one, you can probably quickly remedy it on day two and walk away with a relatively decent experience for the client.
Right.
And in my world, my average life with a client is going to be 3 to 4 months.
Right.
And it's going to take some time to design it. It's going to take some time to pick out all the colors and contract it with detail, then go get a permit, and then ultimately fulfilled our obligations. And, construction never goes 100% as planned, so there's a few hoops to jump through along the way, a few little aggravating things that we're going to have to deal with.
Right.
So it's difficult to, get through 3 to 4 months and not find some little area of conflict.
Right.
We're going to naturally meet the best and the worst of each other, the contractor and the client.
Right.
But we're going to stack the odds against ourselves.
Exactly.
We're going to have them picking out 1,000 colors and faucets and sinks and toilets and tiles and things that are going to stress them out.
Right.
We're going to tear apart their home and make them live in a dusty mess for the next couple months. And while they're living in this dusty mess, all their typical daily activities are turned upside down too. They're going to make their coffee on the bathroom vanity. They're going to have to cook all their meals on the barbecue grill or go out to dinner more than what's scheduled. And of course, they're going to find the little extra things they want along the way, so they're going to spend more money than they planned. And then, of course, it's never going to finish as soon or as quickly as they'd like it to be. So by the time you're done, punching things out, we'll say.
Yep.
And most people are sick of the remodeling process. They're just over it. They want out, and they're glad to, we're almost done. But even the experience of handing over the final check is an uncomfortable one. Mm-hmm. What if you never come back? Or what if I find something after you've left? What are you going to do about it? And so, we don't like that to be the final tale that they're going to tell to their friends and to their family about, the hurdles we had along the way or the things that were uncomfortable along the way. So we're going to wait a couple of weeks after the project's complete. We're going to go back to their house and we're going to deliver them a nice gift and ultimately, brag about how great everything looks now that they've moved in and decorated, and then get them back up on cloud 9 and send them out the door with a new message. And how many of your friends have come over and gawked at the bathroom? Do they love it now? Is it amazing?
Yeah.
And get them to recall the benefits that came from the whole project and not necessarily the journey that we went through to get there. But that journey and the management of that journey is what's going to make it or break it for a contractor or any business professional looking to get referrals from their client. And we treat it like it's a game of chess.
Yep.
We try and predict where the hazards are going to come into place,
right,
and we try and get 2 moves ahead of them. And we try and make sure that we're communicating, well throughout the process, not only about what's going on currently, but about what to expect. And good, bad, or indifferent, we have to communicate.
That's
and
right.
If I'm going to put a cabinet on the wall today, I'm going to put a shim behind it, and that's going to make my cabinet hang level, and that's a good thing. But if I don't explain the gap at the end of the run of cabinets, I'm going to get an angry phone call at 9 o'clock tonight from some customer that says, I can't believe you would leave it this way.
Yep.
One simple piece of tape with a note on it that says install trim here tomorrow could completely alleviate the concern. Everybody gets a good night's sleep, and tomorrow we go on still comfortable with the project as it progresses.
Yeah, great point. If you just joined us, you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. That's Jason Avery. He's the author of Constructing Success, a blueprint for a referral-based business, and also is the owner of Avery Construction. He's kind of outlining did an awesome job of outlining the process and how he's managing expectations and communicating with the client.
Well, I've been 20 years in the contracting world. Avery Construction, in its 5 years of existence, has gone from 0 up to $3 million a year in renovations with 36 people on the ground every day. So the company is working. I've positioned myself to work on it, not in it.
Yep.
And so now Constructing Success, Inc., my next venture, is a team of consultants where we're actually coaching other contractors how to achieve what we've achieved. There's a famous quote from Yoda, and he said, do or do not, there is no try. And that's just it. That's how it is in the contracting world. You either do it right, you do it wrong. There's very little gray. And we just have to get it down to the black and white, document well, follow up, follow through.
Yeah.
So A lot of contractors out there need this help, and I think we can deliver it to them. And so that's the goal of the book and of the business, Constructing Success, is to mentor the other GCs and to help bring up the quality and the reputation of our industry as a whole, because as you know, contractors in Florida have taken quite a bad rap, and often for very good reason. And but these guys need the mentoring. They need to be able to take the level of service to the next level, make sure the customer comes through the process in one piece, where at the end they actually still like you and want to refer you to other people.
Yeah, that's the key. At the end of that transaction, if you can get referrals from a client after you've worked with them hand in hand 6 months, sawdust on the floor, things going through the process, the unexpected becomes expected. It happens. So we're going to hear more from Jason Avery, Constructing Success, Avery Remodeling, and we're going to talk to Sara Chiarelli, Artful Conceptions, as well when we come back. So stay with us. The best is yet to come. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show and realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty and also a published author and a public speaker as well. We also have an open house going on this weekend, 414 South Royal Palm Way in Tampa. This Sunday, open house 1 to 4 over in Beach Park. 4-bedroom, 3 full bath, 2 half bath, over 4,800 square foot heated at this beautiful estate style home in South Tampa. $1.195 million asking price, just reduced. And we are having an open house Sunday 1 to 4. Go say hello to Avilio with Platinum MVP Realty and check out this beautiful South Tampa property. And this segment is brought to you by Hula Bay, the official restaurant partner of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Go say hello to Mike Finnegan down at Hula Bay. It's located just off of just south of Gandy Boulevard, off of West Shore there at Tyson. And Mike Finnegan is the manager. Let him know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you will have a free water with lemon. He'll hook you up, I promise. So we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. here, Monday through Friday, daily show. We're on the weekends on 102.5 The Bone. You can watch the live stream as well on WeBeam TV. And we've got Intelligent Talk Radio. Got some intelligent folks here in studio. First segment, we heard from Jason Avery. He's the author of Constructing Success, as well as the owner of Avery Remodeling, Avery Home Construction. And we're going to talk with Sara Chiarelli as well, Artful Conceptions, Interior Design, and as well as Curt Lorden. He's the branch manager over at InterLinc Mortgage here in Tampa Bay. So, Sara, what is new? What are you seeing out there?
Well, with the economy and everything that's going on, we're building a lot. So I thought maybe we'd talk a little bit about how it is, what the experience is, building a new home, and why you want to make sure that you have a designer that's there with you, helping you out with the whole process.
Sure.
When you're building a home, there's a lot that goes into it, from everything from a really custom home with blueprints and all of that experience, which can take, we've had projects where the blueprint stage alone has taken 3-4 months just to make sure that that home is going to be exactly what you want it to be. But from there to the selections of everything that goes in, and most people, a lot of times that are building with a lot of the builders that are going on, are more of a track style home, or pretty much you have a choice A or B on your floor plan. You have choice from XYZ and what you can put in, and you think you have everything settled when you're working with your realtor, with your builder, and then they walk into the design center and they realize we didn't have anything settled.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, I thought you said that wood floors were going to be $10 a square foot to put in, and then they pick one and they see it and they love it, and they follow it and everything's perfect, and they design everything around it, and it comes back that wood floor that they selected was $15 a square foot, or there's this upgrade charge that goes into it. Oh, and if we add this element, which if we add this pot filler at the stove area, well, we now have to change your entire plumbing package, which now is going to have this upgrade and this increase to it. And it can be a really scary experience for the client, going into that, because they're not expecting all of that. They don't deal with it on a daily basis. They don't understand why. I just added something. Why does that change my entire plumbing package? Mm-hmm. And with these builders, a lot of times that person that's there in the design center with them is making a commission on every upgrade that they do. Right. So can you say 100% that they're looking out for the absolute best thing for that client? Or are they looking at it going, I'm going to build a really cool house and I'm going to make a great commission check off of this? And not to say that they're purposely, intentionally going into it that way, but there can be some of that conflict that goes on. So to have that client have a designer that they know 100% is on their side, even if they're just there for that day for selections, to say, okay, help me out here. What's the right decision? How is this going to work? When we work with a client, even if we're just doing a 1-day selections for a home that's being done, we've spent the time with them to find out what their lifestyle is. How do they live? Do they have kids? Do they have pets? The last thing we want to do is put in a softwood floor in a home with a client that has a bunch of large dogs. Mm-hmm. They're going to live in that home, and within 2 months, that floor is going to be scratched up. It's going to have imprints on it. It's going to look like this brand new home is 10 years old because it was the wrong selection.
Yeah, good point.
So we want to make sure that those selections are being made, and we want to help our clients make sure that they're not making the wrong decision, or that they're spending their money in the right spot.
Yeah. If you just joined us, you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. That's Sara Chiarelli. She's the owner of Artful Conceptions, interior design. And so that's, you mentioned, you made a great point, is there's the housing starts are up. You know, there's only a certain amount of vacant land. You know, last I checked, they're not making any more Mother Earth. You know, so we have, vacant land, home building. They're building on these properties. Now, let's talk about the other side of that. So you can go into someone's home and maybe give them a complete home makeover.
Absolutely. So maybe they're not building, maybe they are wanting to redesign. And we can do everything from going in and redesigning via just as simple as new furniture, window treatments, paint, tile, that kind of an area where we're just keeping your same footprint, keeping your same everything, and making it all new again by changing what's inside of it. Maybe rearranging the layout of how it is just so the flow is different. Or we can go in and we can work with somebody like Jason and do a remodel on it. Maybe it needs a whole new kitchen. Maybe it, if the master bathroom was changed or updated, that would give them a whole new feel to everything. And then there's always everything in between. So maybe it's one bathroom, but we're also redoing our family room, great room, and window treatments. You know, we're going to put that whole package together with them and hold their hand the whole time.
Yeah.
Brandon, I, as part of my consulting company, I teach some programs about behavioral styles of people.
Right.
And so coming from my construction business, I got to tell you, when I get those styles of people who are what I call a nurturer or an examiner, they're very indecisive. They have a hard time making a commitment or making a decision until they have all the information and all the facts and all this analyzation of the information, unlike others who just make, fast-paced decisions very quickly. And so especially when I have those clients, I can't tell you how much we appreciate having a designer and like Sara on board. We've actually collaborated on a couple projects, and it just makes things so much smoother and easier because I can meet with the client a few times and budget the cost of the job, because we're going to have X number of widgets, whether we put the widgets over here or put the widgets over there, and I can get to a budget. But picking out what color the widget is going to be and then what background you're going to put behind it, it can take endless hours of shopping and hand holding in the stores, and that's something that the contractor is not typically going to do with the client. So it's definitely a much better experience for them and much easier on the contractor when you have a professional like Sara who comes in and actually walks them through that and helps them bring it all together.
Yeah, especially with Florida, what we find with that home that may have been built 20, 30 years ago, you walk in, you got a waterfront property here, but right when you walk in, you've got some wall blocking that amazing view, whereas the newer architecture style is going to have it opened up floor plan where you can see through the home. You got some sliders in the back, maybe some large windows. But, we've talked about that on previous shows. But, what's an example of that, Sara, what Jason had just mentioned, when it comes to, you coming in, dealing with that nurturing style, you come in and you hold the homeowner's hand, you help them through the process.
Well, I think, the thing to remember is that usually the client is just really afraid of making a mistake.
Right.
They're afraid that what they're seeing isn't going to be, or how it's going to come out, or what is it going to look like, and how do these come together? And let's be honest, the options for choices are almost infinite.
Yeah.
I can take you into a tile store and you can have 5,000 different options to look at. Or I can sit down with you and I can meet with you and I can find out, how do you live in this space? What do you like? How do things look? What's what's your end goal for all of it? And then bring you 3 to 5 different samples to look at to make a decision from. And when I can bring you 3 to 5, then it's not a panic. The client's not fretting that, oh my gosh, I didn't see everything. I sat down and talked to a professional who after hearing what I want and how I live, these are the best suggestions for me to look at.
Yeah.
And Sara touched on it earlier, too. Those product selections, it's like a game of dominoes. One selection can influence the next,
Right.
So just because when you were at the store you found a great buy on some travertine stone instead of the typical porcelain tile, did that person explain to you that now instead of a thin set, you're going to have to mud set it, which raises it up an extra 1.5 inches?
Yep.
And now your doors might need to be cut down, and the baseboards have to be replaced, and you're going to have to seal it before you can grout it, and et cetera, cetera, et cetera, the dominoes keep falling. So having the professional protect you from that and, let you know ahead of time what you're getting into is so important.
Because the layperson's not going to understand those dynamics of each decision. And when we come back, I want to have Curt talk about how renovation loans can play into this type of a scenario with existing homes, or even proposed, you're going in to buy a home, you might not like it. This is where you might want to reach out to Jason, Avery Construction here, and Sara Chiarelli, Artful Conceptions. And I also want Sara to go through some of her safe bets when it comes to all those big decisions. What are some safe bets that you can go with? What's trendy and happening now? Stay with us. The best is yet to come. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty. This segment is brought to you by Cornerstone PEO. Shout out to Greg Arnold, payroll compliance, payroll, managing your payroll, all those different compliance issues as a business owner. Why do it yourself? Let Cornerstone PEO, and a shout out to Greg Arnold is our contact person over there. Another one of the 80-plus show partners that we have now with the Real Estate Quarterback Show and our sister company, the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want to help you win in any marketplace, kind of go through a cost analysis when it comes to your business, your life, things happening in health. We've got health experts associated with our show as well, and we want to help make you more street smart. So we've got in studio Jason Avery. He's the author of Constructing Success. He's also the owner of Avery Remodeling, Avery Construction. We're talking with Sara Chiarelli, Artful Conceptions. She's an interior design expert contributor here on the Real Estate Quarterback Show. And also Curt Lorden. He's the branch manager at InterLinc Mortgage here in Tampa Bay. So we're talking about home remodeling. We're talking about interior design. And I wanted Curt to kind of tie this together with some of these different types of loan products that are available. If you're a homeowner out there looking to purchase or maybe even refinance, you can take advantage of some of these renovation-style loans.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our marketplace right now, I mean, obviously we have a lack of inventory. We have the new home starts are up. So if you're out there and you're having trouble finding the home that you want, you can always refinance and remodel your existing home and get with a designer and maybe change your kitchen. Because what we have is we have a lot of homes that were redone by investors back in the mid 2000s or whatever, and they may or may not have been done well.
Right.
So go in there, be able to fix some of the things that they've done. Fannie Mae has a home style program where you could actually add luxury items. You could add a pool. You could add square footage. FHA doesn't allow that as much, but still both are fantastic. The FHA is a 203K loan. So have a designer come out, look at what changes you want done. We have an entire renovation department that will align you with a contractor to do all of the work. And, talking about Jason's book, obviously I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to. Just talking about the concept, that's every single walk of life, not just contractors. I mean, my business currently, we deal with clients for anywhere from 17 to 45 days. And if you don't foreshadow, if you don't do the constant follow-up, the constant communication, and then do the post follow-up, the gift, the thank yous, this, that, and the other, you're not going to have that referral source. I mean, you could even, roll it over to pregnancy. It's all fun up front, and then you go through 9 months of headaches, and then the end result is great. You have a baby. So it's really just kind of every walk of life. But
that's a great analogy. I'm going to have to use that in version 2 of it.
And yet I'm the only woman here.
Yeah.
And, it's funny, you guys talking about, I just read an article on MSN that the number one issue with home remodeling is the client changing their mind midstream.
Yeah.
So you talk about going down to Home Depot or any other place and buying maybe cheaper tile that they're not explained, and then coming back and saying, oh, it doesn't match my cabinets, doesn't match my, anything else, and we got to redo the whole entire thing, and it just makes everyone's life that much more difficult and potentially could ruin, a referral source. Clients, everyone out there, you need to align yourself with a professional. If you're not an interior designer, get one. If you're not a contractor, get one. If you're not a mortgage broker, get one.
That's right.
I couldn't change my oil if you paid me. Yeah. So I go get an oil change.
It's about managing stress. These are stressful situations. Otherwise, you'd be stressed out. So we want to put you in touch with the best experts in all of Tampa Bay, that we've assembled here to help, serve as your consumer advocate and help you manage these projects. So yeah, it's a great point, Curt. When it comes to these projects, there's so many different options, and it's so hard to be a jack of all trades, so they say,
right.
And that's where we put all these folks together. And it's an overall, we talk about health on one of our shows as well, but we talk about fiscal health and we talk about physical health. So there's a lot of things to look at. And, Jason, we've talked about those change orders on previous shows, and it's just one of those things that causes stress.
Sure. It's those little unforeseen things that catch you. So, and I highly suggest, especially in the renovation style loans, that definitely get the home inspection done and early in the process. A guy like A Snoop Inspections, another one of your show contributors, is a great one to work with. But I found that as I've done many of those projects, people have their wish list, which pretty much is intent on spending their allowance, and then they get back the home inspection and realize there's 10 other items that have to be added to the list in order to satisfy the FHA based on HUD standards. First you have to have a solid roof, you have to have good running water, you have to have electricity that doesn't offer any hazards to it, no rotten substrates or exterior coverings that are falling off. Those things have to be addressed first, and then we can remodel a kitchen, remodel a bathroom, do some great things. It's a fantastic program for those who need it.
Yeah, I love it.
The irony of that list is number 2 is not getting a pre-inspection of the top 10 things that disrupt a remodel.
Oh yeah, the pre-inspection process. Whenever I take a new listing, if it's if the house is 8 to 12 years, I say up front, let's get it pre-inspected. It's going to serve a couple of purposes. It's going to, number one, let us know what's wrong before the buyer does. and avoid that second round of negotiations that happens, once you come to terms on a contract. So
We've brought it up before too about the flood zone properties. As people are buying homes, sometimes they're buying this waterfront property because of the view, and in their mind they think they're going to gut the place and just start all over. But FEMA has regulations called the 50-50 rule, and that it limits our improvements up to 50% of the value of the structure. So even though the property may be a $500,000 transaction overall, $400,000 of it was in the property and only $100,000 of it was in the structure. So we may be limited to only $50,000 worth of improvement. Well, you're not going to gut the entire house for that. You might get the kitchen and the floors done and throw in one of the little baths or something. So anyways, it's just things that people need to know, those little tips.
Yeah, something else to know, that the homeowner might not know, and then, the chances are we do. Our expert contributors do know it. So before the break, I talked about Sarah. I wanted to find out, with all these paint choices, tile choices, what are some safe bets? What are people doing? What are you seeing out there? What's trendy?
Well, safe bets is taupe, 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 and more taupe.
Okay.
So, we're seeing a lot of it. And when I say taupe, not sure exactly what color you think, but there's a lot of different versions of it. So we can have what I call a beigey taupe, which means that it pulls more towards warmer colors. So maybe it's got some undertones to it of some yellows, maybe it's got an undertone of red or pink or that kind of a tone to it. So it's not as neutral as you think it is, but it gives you ability to play with a lot of things. So then you can pull in all different kinds of bright, fun pop colors to work with it. On the other side, you can go a taupe on the more gray side, which is going to be a little bit cooler, which works really well to bring in more of your blues, greens, purples, cooler toned colors as your pop items. Maybe it becomes in a pop item in your decorative backsplash. We're seeing a lot of those kind of things mixed with natural items. So you're still going to keep seeing a lot of the mother of pearl coming in different places. You're going to see some of those more natural items that come in as your highlights. Maybe it's some driftwood coming in. More in Florida, we see driftwood a lot. We happen to have also been going through a time period where everywhere else in the country wants to be seeing driftwood. So it's really prevalent, and it's really great items that we can get easily and readily now.
Let's talk about that. Whenever you come in, a lot of times you have connections with different flooring, different manufacturers, different, I know you mentioned about your furniture contacts in North Carolina, so that's going to help save the homeowner a lot of money as well.
Oh, absolutely, because they're able to purchase what somebody else isn't able to purchase. So, you walk into a tile wholesaler, they're going to have a retail figure that's written on that tile. Well, then they have their wholesale cost. Then they have their contractor's cost. And then down on the very bottom, they have what they charge designers. So we're usually down the very lowest level because I'm bringing in 2, 3, 4, 5 different contractors. Everybody thinks, the builder gets the best price. Well, that's one builder building so many homes, or that's one contractor remodeling so many homes. As a designer, I'm probably at any given time working with 5 or 6 different builders or contractors. So those suppliers are actually happier to see me a lot of times because I'm bringing them more business from all different directions.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Jason Avery, Constructing Success, Sara Chiarelli, and Curt Lorden here as well. Jason, you had a point?
I was just going to say, she said she's working with contractors, and I want to expound on that. Working with contractors compared to most designers that I know. Sarah's, when you comment how nice and professional she's dressed today looks, she'll throw on the jeans and crawl around the concrete floor with you anytime and measuring and drawing things out with the pencil and marking with the tape. And she'll get right in there and work with the contractors.
Yeah, I love it.
And some days it's kicking the heels off because I wasn't prepared for that and going that route with it too. Absolutely.
She made a good point as far as I didn't realize that designers usually have the bottom prices, and from someone that doesn't know a lot about design, I'm assuming obviously you have to make money somehow. So from a consumer standpoint, they're probably going to save a lot more money by going with a designer and getting the lower cost of the actual materials than doing it themselves and probably messing it up.
Absolutely, because we keep them from making that mistake. And, at least the way that I work is they pay my hours. So they save on product.
Yep,
Gotcha.
and we'll expound on that when we come back. And more from our experts here in studio. Real estate roundtable discussion, Intelligent Talk Radio. More from our experts here in studio when we come back. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Brandon Rhymes, your host here on the Real Estate Quarterback Show. And Intelligent Talk Radio, some intelligent folks here in studio. We're talking with Jason Avery. He's the author of Constructing Success, Blueprints for a Referral-Based Business. And also Sara Chiarelli, Artful Conceptions. She's an expert interior design, expert contributor here with the Real Estate Quarterback Show. And we've got Curt Lorden. He's a longtime mortgage professional, well-respected in the industry, and he's the branch manager of InterLinc Mortgage. So we're here live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, sunny and 75 down here in South Tampa, Florida. So, Curt, a lot of folks are weighing in. A lot of experts think that mortgage rates are going to be increasing, and the Federal Reserve, they're constantly having these meetings and talking about where they're going to go, and there's so many things that affect. With that, it's going to affect the stock market. It's going to affect mortgage rates, auto loans, all types of loans, because it's this overnight lending rate that we sometimes talk about. But I want to get a Mortgage Minute update from you in our Mortgage Matters segment.
Well, the most recent headline was the Fed is cooking up a surprise move for the market this summer. Now, the funny thing is, back in 2011, when they realized they're going to start making these quarterly post meetings, like when they meet every quarter, they're going to have that meeting afterwards, and the market was under the impression that they would never have a rate hike unless there was someone after the meeting to explain why. Well, there is no post meeting in June, and there is no post meeting in July. And right now, the Fed has no reason to raise the rates. They're talking about a rate increase, 26% in June, 53% in July, because the market has become almost, it's a mockery of the Fed because they've been so complacent. So if they raise the rate, it's going to be to prove a point, not to increase the economy, based on the information that I've been reading. So it'll be an interesting couple of weeks, or well, couple of months now. We're almost over with May.
What about inflation? When you think about inflation potentially setting in, I mean, isn't that a key component that goes into the decision?
It is, but there's so many other factors. I mean, the economy's sluggish. No one's spending money. I mean, the growth is minute at this point. So there really isn't a reason for them to raise it, which is why they're arguing, because she was so dovish earlier when she probably could have raised it earlier this year, and she chose not to. The market just wants to hear what she's saying, because she's not actually saying anything.
Yeah,
she's like talking in circles.
It's like there's so many things happening on a geopolitical level. Things happening in the Middle East. You hear, we just had another plane go down. Was it terrorism? Was it not? So there's a lot of geopolitical things happening out there, and it's still, when you think about the United States of America, the Treasury, the Fed, we're still the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry, so to speak.
Yeah,
people are still putting money in the United States economy, and it's really a great place to be investing here in Tampa Bay. So let's go ahead, and we're going to enter our lightning round. All right, top consumer tips, things to do, things to avoid. Jason Avery, Avery Construction.
Hire a licensed contractor. Don't be fooled by the notion of a handyman. If you call PCCLB, the Pinellas County Licensing Board, they will tell you by definition there is no such license for a handyman. They hold 48 different types of defined trade and licenses that you can carry, and if you make any manipulation to a home at all, one of those licenses should apply, whether it's a drywall license, a flooring install license, electric, plumbing, HVAC, go down the list. But technically speaking, there's no such thing as a handyman license, and so that guy who says he's the jack of all trades and is probably the jack of none. So
master of none. Yeah. So, and if you have one of these folks come in and they're, you got a stairwell and they fall down that stairwell, I mean, they can sue you.
Yeah, that would be my round two of lightning, would be is the insurances. And general liability is easy to obtain. It only costs a couple $100s to have a couple $1 million policy for a year's coverage. But general liability is only covering property. If that person is injured on the job site, work comp is the insurance that we need to see on file.
Right.
Well, lots of men will say they're work comp exempt. Many of those men have never actually filed the appropriate paperwork to make that legitimate. But even those who have, if you ask any good lawyer after the injuries occurred, he's going to find a case to make that person not an independent contractor as you thought he was, but rather an employee of the company that you hired initially. And they're going to turn that situation right back around on you. And now he was not covered with work comp, and you as the homeowner and your homeowner's insurance company can be sued.
Don't hire a unlicensed professional. Make sure they're licensed, bonded, insured in many cases. The bond is important as well. In case the company does go bankrupt and things like that, they have a bond in place. Okay, great point. Sara Chiarelli, Artful Conceptions, consumer advocate tip, please.
I would say have somebody that is on your side whenever dealing with any kind of construction work, whether you're building or remodeling. Even if it's just to simply say, help me out, let me make sure my choices are right and that it's going to work with my lifestyle. You want somebody that's an outside influence, making sure that you as a consumer are making the right decisions and the timelines are right and the project is going to be done in the way that it should be. So make sure you have that person on the outside that's there for your behalf, not being paid by your builder or contractor.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you look at motivations, the reasons why, how contracts are structured. There's so many reasons why to have an advocate on your side. Great point. Curt?
When it comes to your family, your finances, or your home, and you're going to make any changes to any of the three, work with a licensed professional. I mean, make sure that you don't do it yourself, because it's going to end up costing you a lot more money than if you try to do it yourself and make a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. How many times have we talked to, I've talked to for sale by owners, folks trying to sell their properties on their own. They, there's many mistakes happened, and, I try to help out and get involved with those processes, and sometimes to manage expectations, kind of like Jason was saying, and you want to manage expectations, you want to help with the process. By the way, big time consumer tip. This just happened to one of my listings this week. There's scammers out there that will go on Facebook, they'll go on Craigslist. Most of the time it's Craigslist, and they will take pictures of a real estate listing that a realtor has. They will replicate that listing on Craigslist. And then the poor lady that we had an incident with this week, one of my listings, they got scammed out of a deposit and a first month to strangers that met them at the property posing to be the homeowner. And they somehow had the lights turned on. I don't know how they got that done, but they basically scammed this lady, and she had a couple young kids. The listing client of mine felt horrible about it. But so if you're out there looking for a rental property, you've got to be very careful. You've got to vet and understand who you're dealing with. Make sure you ask for identifications. But yeah, so that's kind of how the Craigslist scam works. They'll copy pictures. It's easy to right click and save a picture and then create a false ad. And then what the key is, a lot of times what they'll do, this was the first one I heard where they actually met the person and took the money from them. But a lot of times what they'll do is they'll have you mail the money to a post office box, and then you can't really trace it. It's a post office box. You don't really know. It's probably a corporation that's set up to provide that layer of between the client and the scammer. So yeah, stay alert, be careful out there, get second opinions, ask folks around the industry, who is a reputable remodeling expert, interior design, mortgage lender, those types of scenarios. So let's go one more round. We're going to do our lightning round again. Top consumer tip, Jason.
Again, anywhere in a flood zone doesn't mean you have to be on the water. You could be 3 blocks off the water, but still in a flood zone. So any type of renovation or remodeling is going to be capped up to 50% of the value of the structure. You can do your research on your own by going to the Pinellas County property appraiser or whatever county you're located within. Yep. And they will have up at the top corner a link you can click for substantial improvements. And they will ultimately define that for you, what your allowances are. There are ways to increase your allowance through a new independent appraisal. Yep. Or through having certain things to be discluded from the budget. If we have a roofer write a letter that condemns the roof, that it's got less than 3 years of life, it's going to have to be replaced, then they won't count that against your allowance. So nice. Deal with a contractor that knows the ropes, knows the ins and outs, and can help navigate you through that and maximize the project you're trying to get done.
Great point. Sara Chiarelli, parting words of advice.
I'm going to actually continue on what Jason was talking about, that if you're doing that process, because we are remodeling a lot of those homes on the water right now, and we're running into those kind of things. If you have the right team, you can get that planned out ahead of time. We have properties that we've done where we build the construction plan and the timeline to be that it goes over 2 calendar years, so that that plan works and you can actually get the project done within the time frame, and it drags it out a little bit longer, but that planning is so you can still get that entire remodel done and work within your FEMA code.
Great point. Curt?
Ask questions. Ask questions throughout the entire process. I assure you, you're not going to annoy us by asking 1,000 questions. It's one of the number one rules I tell my clients. I'd rather you ask me 1,000 questions and never ask me one. Don't just nod your head and think that you understand, because it's going to end up biting the backside down the road.
That's right. Yeah, ask those questions up front. Get pre-approved up front. Find out the licensing, the bonded, the insurance around the contractors you're reaching out to. And I want to thank Jason Avery, author of Constructing Success, Avery Remodeling and Construction. I want to thank Sara Chiarelli as well, Artful Conceptions and Interior Design, and Curt Lorden, the branch manager over at InterLinc Mortgage, and all of our expert contributors. We want to thank you for everything you do, the team behind it, and the referrals that you're bringing to us. Really help us grow this brand. We're looking to do a TV show on the weekends as well, bringing the TV show back, and some really cool things planned for our future growth. So we want to thank all of our listeners out there, folks behind the scenes making it happen, and we want you to go out there and please consider making a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time, same time and place. Have a great day.